My name's Tom Holland, and this is Field Target Tech. Today we're out at the range. As you can hear in the background, the shots going off. We're going to do a little bit more testing with some different pellets out of my Marauder. And as we pan over, you can see this is my Marauder, and this is the final version of it before I go to Crosman All-American Field Target Championship on Thursday. And what we're going to do today is, this now has one of the new Crosman barrels in it that was redesigned about a year ago. They've made them a lot more consistent, a lot better quality control to them. This barrel I polished myself. It is, you can see yourself shine inside of it. So all the rough spots, if there was any, have been taken out. And what we're going to do today is we're going to test a bunch of different ammunitions out of this. We have absolutely no wind here today, and that is really good for a testing day. That'll really determine which pellet groups the best, particularly at 55 yards. I do all my testing at 55 yards because if it doesn't shoot accurately at 55, it's not going to shoot accurately at other distances as well. So, and the reverse goes for that. If a pellet doesn't group at 30, it's not going to group at 50. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to just pan over and we're going to take a look at the different ammunitions I'm going to be trying for today. As we look down, we're going to be trying some sniper mediums at 8.5 grains of the old batch that I had, and this is a newer batch. It's the same pellet, but it's slightly different packaging. We're going to see if there's any difference between these two. I believe the head size on these is a little bit smaller than the head size in these, but we'll have to check them out, and we're going to just test them and see how it works out. We also have some sniper lights we use. We're going to try at 7.5 grains. On the Jsb line, we're going to be using some older Jsb Exacts, which are 8.44 grains, and some even older ones yet that are 8.44 grains as well. We're going to be trying some Exact Express at 7.87 grains and some Exact RS at 7.33 grains. Also in the mix, we're going to be trying some Air Arms Diablo Fields at 8.44 grains and some Diablo Expresses at 8.87 grains. Lastly, but not to be forgotten, is we're going to be trying some Beeman Field Target Specials at 8.64 grains. We're going to test each of these on its own target at 55, and we're going to see what we come up with. Okay guys, we started out with the first 4 pellets. What I did before each group was shot, and each of these is a 10-shot group, I fouled the barrel out with 10-15 shots first before I started each target, so the barrel would get used to each different type of pellet that I'm using. Now the first up was the sniper mediums. Roughly my target is a little bit larger than the tin. I don't have my caliper with me to measure that, but that did rather well with a little bit of a wind, not too much. And I'm holding dead center. I'm not looking at getting the group in the center. I'm just looking at the size of the group to see which pellet groups the tightest. Where it goes is immaterial to me. I can always adjust for that later. So this one was the sniper medium, which is my go-to pellet as of recent, and it seemed to do very, very well. Now the second target was the sniper medium that are the newer ones. It's a different batch, a different lot that was after this group was produced, and I was very disappointed with it, very surprised. This is not going to be an option for me to use in a match by any means. Some of them were actually off of that center, so that group would be absolutely unacceptable for even any future testing or any future thing. We'll have to find out and maybe sort them out on a rainy day and find out what the reason for that is. The surprising one was the sniper lights at 7.5 grains, and this gave me a nice little group here, again in a slightly brisk wind. So that surprised me as well. Last one on the list is the Beeman field target specials. And all of those 10 ended up a little bit low, but we had a really, really nice group here at 55 yards. So this is a pellet that I might want to pay a little bit more attention to in the future. I'm going to have to do a little bit more testing in the wind, and from what past tests have told me, that the Sniper Medium actually bucks the wind a little bit better than most other pellets. But we'll have to try this one out, and we're going to pay a little bit more attention to that pellet. Now I'm going to go down and we're going to do several more different brands of pellets and styles, and we'll do the same test as we did with these. Okay guys, we just tested the next 3 in the line of the groups of pellets I have. The first up in the first row is the Jsb, nope, that was wrong, is the Jsb Express from an older tin. And there goes everything flying. And it did okay, but I'm still not impressed with the size of the group. And what's typical of a Jsb pellet is you'll get a good group and you'll have a couple flyers either way. The second group is Jsb Exact 8.44s. These were a little bit of an older of a tin, and it grouped well, but still in the wind, not to my liking actually, from past tests. And then we have the Jsb Exact at 7.87 grains, and that did okay. And again, we have a flyer, probably because of the wind or the pellet. Now it's to be noted that all of these pellets are not weighed and sorted. These are all straight out of the tin. So for the ones that I'm impressed with, they out of the tin, if they group and shoot well, after you sort them, they can only do a little bit better than that. The Exact RSs did a very good group. The RSs are 7.33 grains, and we had a slight flyer here when the wind kicked up, and the wind didn't kick up a lot. And that's the downfall of a lighter 7.33 grain pellet. If I had a choice to use a lighter pellet, it would be the Sniper Light, because it does group better and they do fight the wind a little bit better. Now, everyone keep in mind that this is through a Crosman barrel. Your barrel could be very different. You see so many guys online going, what pellet should I use for this gun? What's the most accurate pellet? You don't know. You have to do a test like this to figure out what your most accurate pellet is. There is basically a starting point where you can get a couple good recommendations of pellets, many of these being in that recommended pellet. These are some of the best pellets you could probably get quality-wise, and they're all readily available. We got 3 more pellets to test. We're going to go back down range and we're going to do those. We're even going to test some Jsb Premiums, and we're going to see how that does. We're going to start out with them there, and those are Jsb's supposedly match pellets that are more closely monitored. They have closer tolerances than the regular Jsb's out of the tin. So we're going to see what they look like, and we're going to do a little bit more testing. Okay guys, we just got finished testing my last 3 pellets to give a total of 11 different pellet styles and types that we tried. The first up was the Jsb Exact Premiums, and this is JSB's attempt at making a more carefully selected pellet, more quality control, and the price reflects that. And the group that we have was very, very low, and the group was very, very spread out. It was, you have one down here and up there. It's probably every bit of a 4.5-inch group, which for what these cost, I'm very disappointed with them. I really don't have any gun that I own that shoots these well at all, and you'll hear a lot of guys making that same statement. The next up was Air Arms Diablo Field 8.44 grains, And we have a nice little group down here, but we did have one flyer that was all the way over here someplace. It didn't even make it onto the target. I find that that's typical with a JSB or an Air Arms. You'll have a really, really good group, and you'll have one of them way out in left or right field someplace. That usually is remedied by sorting, and I've culled them a lot by doing that. Granted, keep in mind that all of these are in very little or no wind. So given a little bit of wind, these groups with those Air Arms do open up, and I know that from experience. Last up was the Air Arms Diablo Express, which is 7.87 grains. And as you can see, that group is really spread out. That was all in here. So that's every bit of probably 5 or 6 inches, and that would not be a consideration for me to use. Out of all of these, I'm impressed with the most is, and I've used them in the past, is the Air Arms 8.44s. A little bit of sorting, get that right back into a nice group again. Another good group was the Field Targets by Beemans. They work very well at 8.64 grains, I believe. That was a nice little group. Same thing with here, you have the Sniper Lights. The newer Sniper Mediums in the orange box, the orange tin that I showed before, very disappointed with them. That's a very erratic group. And these are the Sniper Mediums that's been my go-to pellet. It's a very good and tight group, most of them within there, maybe 1 or 2 of them out from a little bit of wind drift or something, but I'm very pleased with these. So out of all of these, the pellets I would consider as a go-to pellet for me would be the Air Arms, the Sniper Lights, and the Sniper Mediums. For me, the stay away pellets would be the Jsb Premiums and the 8.33s, the 7.33 RSs. That group is very wide and erratic, as is the newer Sniper line, as you see here. That was probably one of the worst groups other than the premiums, the Jsb Premiums. So we're going to do a little bit more testing in the wind, and I'm going to be working with basically the Sniper Lights and the Sniper Mediums and some of the Air Arms. I'm going to probably lean towards the Sniper Mediums because I know the holdover, and when push comes to shove in a really, really brisk wind, the Sniper Mediums drift a whole lot less than any of these other traditional Diablo skirted type pellets. I don't know if it's because of the shape of them. I know that the head of that pellet is a perfect half circle, unlike a lot of these other pellets where it's domed but not a perfect sphere. They're a little bit more flattened out. So we're going to do some testing with that, and keep in mind, guys, this is what you should do when you want to find the proper pellet for your gun. Test 10 of them, dozen. Don't get 1 or 2 brands and go, oh, this one doesn't work, that one doesn't work, what's wrong with my gun? This is what you have to do to find the pellet that your gun likes, and this goes with any gun. But these are, again, out of the Marauder's new barrel that has been redesigned by Crosman and Mr. Nick Hargarther, and I'm very pleased with some of the results of some of these pellets. And as you can see, different pellets do different things. So keep that in mind, shoot for groups, and just stay with it. That's what it's tedious, it's long, but it's what you have to do in order to get the most supreme accuracy that you'd be looking for. So that being the case, I'm going to go back to doing a little bit of practice before the Crosman match, and I'm going to be doing some long distance stuff in the wind here. So that's my testing for the Marauder. That'll give you a nice idea what some of these pellets do and what some of them don't do. Now, just because some of these pellets don't group well in my gun doesn't mean it won't group well in yours. Every barrel is different. I could probably grab another Crosman barrel and I may not get a group like this or like this out of that barrel. And maybe one of these other ones that are opened up, maybe they'll shoot even tighter than what some of the better ones here are. It's all a hit or miss thing, and there's no substitute other than to test. So guys, test a lot. It's better for accuracy. It's the way to get your accuracy. And then if you sort through them, that'll even make all these groups tighten up even more. So that being said, I'm going to leave and we'll be done for the day for this. Okay guys, we completed the testing. We used 10 different brands, 10 different kinds, well not brands, but 10 different styles of pellets. And as you can see what the results were. Some were more promising than others. Just goes to show, at the end of the day, there's no substitute for just testing and finding out what your gun likes, no matter what kind of a gun it is. Could be a Steyr, it could be a Gammo, it doesn't matter. Every gun likes different ammunition. So with that in mind, shoot safe. My name's Tom Holland, and this is Field Target Tech.